It's no problem.
I will look. What time is it when Marcus gets back, unless there's something else happening?
We'll say it's 2:44 in the morning.
And sunrise around 5, or a little bit earlier than that?
Like 5:30.
Okay. Marcus will hunt twice before
Okay.
heading back to his domicile of choice for tonight.
Right. Which, your target number is 3. Yay! That takes care of Marcus for the turn, for the morning. Aaron is still away, I think?
No, I'm back, actually.
Okay. But, David's gonna do nothing but play around with barbed wire for the day, right?
Pretty much.
Okay. What does, Joseph do, upon, finishing his business with, the Astoria Times? Sean?
I think he has one more call to make to David.
Okay.
Ring ring. Motherfucker.
Wait, who are you calling?
You.
You.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, I had one last request of your ghoul. This it's a stupid thing, and I just wasn't set up for it. He happened to know what a Espada does on her nights off?
No, he didn't.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Click.
I have it noted down that she has Saturday and Sunday off. Did he happen to note down what time she got off Friday?
David hung up.
No, I was asking Grimith that actually.
Oh, sorry.
It does not. But judging by how the schedule looks, it seems that, she would be off on Friday night.
I was more wondering if she got off like just when the night started or like just before the night started. I was wondering if I'd be able to like be around there when whenever she got off.
Looks like, I mean, she would definitely, be off already before you woke up and got to the police station.
Okay, that's what I was wondering mainly. Then nothing else to do. Probably do random Malkavian shit.
Okay. Which leaves Byron and his inevitable return eventually to Astoria to sleep or do crazy Ventrue shit.
Yeah, if he has enough time, he's gonna hunt in Astoria once or twice. I don't know what time it is.
We can give him 2 hunting rolls, but then he'll have to go to sleep. Those are both successes.
I just keep rolling low, man. Just it worries me. I keep seeing all these low numbers, but at least it was an easy roll. And he will leave a quick message with Evelyn on her voicemail, or if she picks up at 5:30 or 6 a.m. or whenever the heck it is, right before he goes to sleep, that to look into a loan company for his place, and don't book anything right away, but just find someone for the next next week sometime, because he needs to find something. He won't tell this to her, but he needs to find like a big bookshelf or something to put in front of the gaping hole in his basement before they come.
Is that something that Byron wants Evelyn to take care of for him? I mean, again, we get to the whole conversation, Byron's not incompetent, contrary to popular belief.
No, I mean, no, he isn't. I mean, a lot of it is an act, actually. He doesn't. He actually feels comfortable if some people underestimate him, but that's not the point. Point is, again, when is he going to call an alarm installer?
Well, I mean, when do you think they would install an alarm anyway? You want them to be inside your haven during the daytime while you're asleep?
Well, he wouldn't be there. I mean, he'd get like a hotel room or something. But he wants to at least, if he's not going to be there and they're going to be putting the alarm in, he wants to at least hide the work he's done in the basement in case they go down there. He's not going to ask for them to put anything down in the basement necessarily, but he doesn't want it to be obvious he's digging a hole there.
Okay. It's certainly something that could be done. It'll definitely be uncomfortable, though, since Byron won't be able to control or monitor the installation or provide direct instructions about this.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I mean,
I'm not saying they don't know they're doing it. It's just that if they wanted to do anything you disagreed with, you couldn't tell them at the time.
right. I mean, definitely Evelyn would have to be the go-between. I'm trying to think of it. I mean, there's two ways to do it. I mean, Byron can try to install his own alarm system, which I just don't see going that well. He has no technology points. He has no larceny points, so he can't even get it from the other direction. I mean, he has nothing that would let him do that. And the other way is to have someone install it for him, and I don't know how he can do it himself. If anybody else has ideas, like they know people that install alarm systems in the middle of the night. Yeah,
David Green.
yeah.
It's just the biggest concern ends up being, like, as a vampire, it's kind of like, how much of your personal security do you want to be in control of? Stuff like that.
Well, that's just it. It's of everyone in the coterie, I guess he kind of, rightly or wrongly, he trusts David Green the most with that type of thing and his own safety. But he does, in the back of his head, he's like, well, if I have him install this alarm system, then later on, let's just say he flips out like everyone else in this coterie seems to be doing and wants to kill me. He knows what he installed my alarm system. So there's that. So he kind of wants a third party. So that's the whole problem there.
Anyway, the message can be left.
Yeah. Either way, he'll leave the message, but he will think along those lines, and Evelyn might bring up those things too. There's always Match. Maybe he has pre-made alarm systems he can just kind of buy and position around. There's that too. I don't know if Match just does armaments or what.
Oh, that's great.
I'm totally at a loss for how I would handle this if I were Byron.
All right. Well, I suppose that takes care of early Friday morning then, as the sun arises and everyone's squirreled away in their respective havens, hoping like hell that shit doesn't go down. And if it does, that they end up on the right side of it. The day passes. About as eventfully as the day can pass. And then night ends up arriving. Hooray! Of course, roughly at about 10:40 p.m., David Green, Byron Rand, and Joseph Cheung arise from their respective slumbers, each losing a point of vitae in the process. Byron has a confused but okay message from Evelyn. She wants a lot more details and specifics about the situation, especially if she's going to have to act as your proxy in this affair. But it shouldn't be difficult to schedule up a meeting sometime in the middle of next week for perhaps an installation to occur. Just there's not enough information about, Byron might want to try to do some research into what packages might be available, sort of what he's looking for the security system, stuff like that.
Oh, definitely. This is an interesting question, and it's going to be one of those damn White Wolf questions. If you get a motion sensor, and like they have those hall-wide motion sensors, and someone obfuscated walks through it, do they trigger it?
Yeah, obfuscate is a psychic.
Yeah, that's what I thought. No, that's what I thought. All right, because he will be. That's a big thing.
Yeah. That's directly handled. Obfuscate does not fool technology. Obfuscate fools the people behind the technology. The problem is that, sure, the motion sensor goes off, then you go downstairs and you're like, what the fuck? There's nothing.
Right, but at least it would wake them up, is what I'm thinking.
It would have a chance to do that, yeah.
Yeah. Or it would go off and whatever. He would be alerted if he was away, the alarm company would call him up and all that jazz. But yeah, he will definitely research that, and that is probably something I will do over the next week, and I will tell you. So.
Okay. So yeah, that's the message Byron is left with. Joseph arises in familiar surroundings, nothing that would have caused any sort of disturbance or reaction at all. David awakens. He has an outstanding voicemail message from Detective Albert Farnsworth.
All right, Dave, we'll check it.
David, this is, Al here, calling to check in about Moses Carney. Turns out he does have a criminal record. There is a Moses Carney. I don't know whether the exact one, but his time frame does fit the bill. Currently in Sing Sing for Murder 1. Story goes that apparently he killed his wife for cheating on him, and not quite in the passionate sort of rage sense, but in the I'm going to slowly plot out how I'm going to saw off your wrists and then feed them to dogs in front of you fashion. So, if that's the particular individual, then he's in Sing Sing. Anyway, talk to you later. Good night. That's the end of the voicemail.
All right. Well, David will call Joseph first thing while he's checking his security systems.
Hello?
Carney's in Sing Sing.
That strikes me as...
And just speaking out of character, for anyone who may be unfamiliar with that, Sing Sing Correctional Facility is a maximum security prison located within the state of New York. I think It's on the east bank of the Hudson River, maybe about 30, 40 miles above the New York City metropolitan, like the center, the five boroughs. I'm not exactly sure of the location of it to that extent.
No, you're right. That's where the term sending people up the river came from.
Yeah. But maximum security. Bad people go there.
And if I remember right, Sing Sing's not exactly a nice prison even when compared to other max security prisons.
No. Yeah, he got sent there for sawing off his wife's hands and then killing her.
Sawing them off.
Something to do with adultery.
It half fits it, half makes me confused as to what the fuck's going on. Because, again, take it for what it's worth, I know at least at some level he's happy. Maybe that's just because he got away with it. Maybe it's a different situation, therefore it doesn't cross over. Fuck.
Or maybe he's fucking crazy and he's okay with being in prison.
There's the answer too.
So, yeah, Sing Sing. You want anything else?
This is an out-of-character question. How... I think it's something that Joseph would know, but I don't know off the top of my head. How difficult would it be to meet him? Would he have to ask for something with David's School, or would he even be able to set that up?
He wouldn't be able to set that up, especially not for a middle-of-the-night meeting.
Yeah, that's probably what the killer is the middle of the night meeting.
You'd have to get a lot of exceptions to be able to meet a prisoner in a maximum security prison in the middle of the night.
You'd also probably have to get the prisoner to consent to it.
That too, and if he has no idea who the hell you are, which is fair to say he won't.
Yeah, but
Basically,
that differs
hard as
from prison.
fuck.
Yeah, the prisoner consent though is sort of a die though. It's one or the other. It's some will, some won't, just based on the individual. If he's that crazy, then someone out of the blue coming, he might just say, "Hey, fuck it, sure."
Sure. We, it could be hand wave that hurdle. You'd still have to get past the other hurdle.
Yeah.
Hurdles, really.
Can I get his case record?
I didn't get the full record. I just had my ghoul check in with me on that.
Yeah, I assumed as much. Could you ask him for it?
It's a single count of murder one.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just asking for like the full thing so I can go over it.
Sure. I'll see if he has it. Click. Then the David's gonna call him up.
Al will let David know that he doesn't exactly have the case file record on hand either. Mainly, it was just a friend of a friend who had access to being able to search the database to get a hold of a physical copy of it. He could. It probably wouldn't be until next week, though.
Yeah, that's fair. And Dave will thank him anyway. And tell him that he'll check in if he wants him to put in all that effort.
Okay.
And then David will call Joseph right back up.
Joseph will tell him, yeah, he wants something. He wants to put together a case against this guy. He wants to be able to have it actually brought forward before judge and jury.
It's not going to happen.
If it does,
You don't have
he
any
doesn't.
evidence tying him to those little girl murders. Any hard evidence.
Well, then there's two obvious ways. Confession, doubtful, possible, doubtful. Um,
Listen, your options are either somehow getting him before Byron to mind control him into confessing, or trying to sneak into the prison and enact some vigilante justice. That's really it. Or, third option, you somehow track down some kind of hard evidence that you submit with an anonymous tip, because remember, there's no time limit on murders.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why I want the case, to see if there's anything I can piece together to find some kind of evidence.
The case is just on his murdered wife.
I get that. It's just who he is, where he's been, that kind of stuff. Family, friends, old address.
Alright, if you think it'll help, but I don't know how much detail there will or won't be in it.
If it's incomplete, it's incomplete. Hoping because he's in prison, at least they'll have this one.
Alright. Click. And then David will call Farnsworth back up.
And you're able to reach him.
Yeah, go ahead and try and get that case file. But you don't need to rush it. I'd rather you not get flagged for looking into it too heavily than anything else.
That case, sometime later this month then. I can't say which day.
That's fine. We're working on a cold case anyway, so it's not like we're on some urgent timetable.
No, of course not.
Alright. I don't think I'm going to need to call you up for anything else tonight, so sleep well if you're off, work well if you're not.
Good night.
Click.
Well, that was
Alright,
exciting.
how much of David's maze is set up at this point?
Well, he might have had just spent more time planning it out than anything else, Obviously, he has ideas of how he set it up in, Haven's past, and just tailoring it to the specifications of how it looks now. It might take a long while before he finishes fully fine-tuning it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the subway station had the advantage of having, hallways and tunnels to work with. This is one big open area.
You need like a warehouse full of boxes, apparently.
Fucking Steinway.
That's right. Get some boxes.
But yeah, he'll be setting up a maze using, the barbed wire, the chicken wire to just build crude, flimsy walls. And then
Okay.
the cameras, the dummies, the noise machines, the strobe lights, all that.
In that case, it's partly finished.
Okay. Then he's mainly going to focus on continuing to work on it tonight.
Okay. Well, eventually we have Marcus, who ends up arising as well, spending a point of VtM in the process, as he's ready to begin his Friday night!
I just don't want to party, because that just seems like a cop-out, even though that's what Marcus would do. I just don't know what I would do other than party.
Well, there's still a Malkavian who wants to kill you.
True.
I mean,
Technically doesn't actually want to kill you.
that's completely metagame and entirely irrelevant to the discussion, show. There's a
far as
Malkavian who
Marcus-
wants to kill you.
There's a Malkavian. He happens to be in my coterie. I don't want him to kill me.
And Auspec senses have certainly told you that this particular individual has hostile intentions towards you. Continuing to ignore the problem by drinking doesn't make it go away, just like it doesn't make Vietnam or the heroin addiction go away.
I have an idea, but this is going to require me whispering it to you.
Alright. I like whispers. Which case, we will inevitably center on Byron. He doesn't have to go to class today. Woo!
Ooh, party! Yeah, I guess, let's see. All right, he's got 12 blood points. That's enough. He's just going to head over to Elysium, see what's going on. I mean, hobnob with people. Hopefully not make a fool of himself. You know, the usual.
Alright. Let's go ahead and have Byron roll a charisma plus etiquette. We'll say even a justice down due to his point of status. Make this a difficulty 6.
Charisma etiquette, okay. Okay.
Yep, charisma plus etiquette, difficulty 6.
Oh goodness, you got 2 successes. All right.
Panic! Well, as it turns out, Byron learns himself, strong rumors have been radiating these past few days, and they appear to become official. Marlena's left. She's gone. She fled the city. Presumably,
Really?
we can think to, the tides had turned so much against her that not even the Anarchs would be able to. Obviously, it would just been nothing more than a bloodbath, and whether she might have been willing to fight, bloodbath and, cry out her ideals or not, the Anarchs were like, fuck you, this is dumb. And so rather than be killed at the hands of the new prince, she's gone. Carter Vanderwayden is officially, as the last standing contender, the new Prince of New York City.
Byron will be pleased with that news. Definitely that was the lesser of two evils. And he will, I guess, chat about that with people and get the general feelings on the matter.
Because Byron is Ventrue, Byron also gets this sense of sort of like titillated amusement from other Ventrue, rather than be enormously concerned with the fact that their new prince is Malkavian. They're those in the know, which seems to focus around Michaela's children, Valentine. Really, they're the only ones. Basically a situation of, yeah, it's a transition phase. Things happen. We had a Nosferatu prince for one time. Sometimes these things just happen. We have all of eternity. Followed by one of those perplexing and pneumatic smiles.
I think Byron has seen a lot of those when he was working in politics. So he kind of gets the idea, and he's willing to wait and watch. He figures that he got what he wanted out of this, and he figures he'll just see what happens as things go forward. But very interesting news. Yep. Other than that, I guess he'll just chat around for a while. He'll stay there till things die down, I guess.
Yeah. Marlena's gone. The Anarchs apparently have sort of like resigned themselves to being consigned to Staten Island. There's been all sorts of hubbub over the past few weeks after, Jeannie's death, although he wasn't exactly at that point a realistic, sort of I'm going to win prince situation, but still better than Marlena. And, just sort of idea, like, now that it's become a real thing, the fact that Carter Vanderweyden, this sort of, a conservative type who sort of sees the prince in a rather despotic, sort of fair, even-handed, but still iron-handed fashion, like in the style of the Ventrue princes of old, is going to handle the situation, what sort of things he'll tend to pass, because he definitely has the support of, the individuals who have power here in the city. And as for the individuals who don't have power, they're going to, of course, be shafted. It'll be interesting to see what he ends up doing with the gangrel. Hopefully, they'll be consigned out of the city where they belong because they're not officially a part. Along with, dealing with the Setites, lingering remnants from Sabat, the Giovanni, that'd be cool as well. They haven't officially declared their domain. All sorts of interesting gadflies and, tittering about the different clans. Since Byron is Ventrue, though, and people would recognize him to be Ventrue, it's really only other Ventrue who tend to open up about this tittering, about, all these cool things that Carter could take care of that would be in his best interest to do so. You have those Assamites and, Wargarble, trash Malkavians living over there in Queens. You can't trust them. Always have to be suspicious of what those crazy bastards will end up doing next. Stuff like that.
Yep. Seems like same type of conversation, well, similar, that you get like after an election as a mortal, So, yeah, he'll revel in it and make small talk about it and laugh and joke and that type of stuff. And I don't know, I guess he'll spend, I don't know, how long, 2-3 hours here, max, just talking to a lot of people.
Sure.
And if he does happen to see Gavin Andrews there, he will be polite and nod. And if I doubt Gavin will try to antagonize him, but if he does, he'll ignore it. So.
No, he'll definitely see Gavin. Gavin is not so foolish as to wish an argument here in Elysium, especially after what seems, curiously, almost as if it's being interpreted as a victory night for Ventrue.
Curious. Byron will take note. Oh, well, as soon as he's done, he will call David up, but that's several hours in the future, so I don't know what everyone else is going to do.
I know what David's doing, and I know what Marcus is doing, so my query ends up being, what's Joseph doing, love?
Well, I think, don't want to go to Espada before she's probably asleep. If I can't catch her early, I'd rather catch her while she's asleep. So I think I'll head to Elysium.
Okay, well, certainly Joseph's going to be arriving at Madison Square Garden. Always ends up being the happening place, and even for him, I mean, let's go ahead and, yeah, he's actually a nice, apple enough guy, and he's fucking Malkavian, so obviously he's already gonna know, and he might actually take some pride in this. Yeah, Marlena's gone. Carter Vanderweyden, officially the next Prince of New York City. As people eye you warily, because you're crazy as fuck and no one trusts you. So they're like, let's just give him information so he'll go away. At least that's the sentiment Joseph always feels.
Well, probably because it's a sentiment put out there. He'll try to see if he can isolate any further information. Anyone that seems to have any more knowledge, whether it just be someone's keeping away and like doesn't seem to be involved, or whether it's someone has more information, just wandering around looking for playing the game, the Ventrue game, the little game they play.
Well, Joseph would certainly reason it takes no role to know that, oh yeah, everyone here is hiding information. Joseph himself is hiding information. But there's not really a role you can make to sort of dissect that information out. Here at Elysium, Joseph has the unfortunate implication of being recognized. You know, as someone Theo Bell has mentioned as a competent individual, and as someone who's associated with David Green, the Nosferatu who ripped off a giant fucking 20-foot long tentacle from a massive Zamitzi monstrosity. Joseph doesn't have the luxury of being able to blend in as just some, no-name neonate anymore, and according with the fact that people tend to know your name, they also tend to know the fact that you're a child of Malkav, which means... You talk to him? What, no? He's not real.
Add that on top of there's probably at least a few people that know my sire.
Yeah, there is definitely that lingering as well. There's always that hanging over Joseph's head.
Well,
it certainly helped all of this new blood coming into New York City. So you have a bunch of people who don't know it, but then you just have people telling the story of how horrible your sire was.
well, he'll probably play the game until midnight or so.
He'll also see He'll also see Byron there too.
Joseph sees Joseph.
Yep, Joseph sees Joseph in a mirror. Joseph sees Byron, schmoozing and laughing with Ventrue. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just to say, Byron is not going to notice you, so you're in your court.
Probably won't go over and talk to him. May listen in, but won't go over and talk to him.
You haven't learned your lesson, have you? Listening to Byron's conversation, you'll just go more insane.
No, he just goes to sleep.
It's like a glass of milk for Joseph.
He doesn't go more insane. He suddenly managed to just be able to fall asleep in the middle of the night. With enough training, you could probably make a vampire, not nocturnal anymore.
Perhaps that's Joseph's weakness, Marcus just records a demo tape of Byron talking about nothing but, quirky Ventrue shit and just plays that, and Joseph's like,
The secret weapon has been found.
why
Joseph's
am I so tired?
He was like, oh fuck, I got a screwed up version of the Toreador weakness. Certain things just make me pass out. But yeah, he'll play the game until probably about midnight or so.
Okay. I assume Marcus is still thinking about his serious business, Jordan.
Yes, I'm still thinking this needs to be a good plan, because if it fails, well...
Okay then, well, you eventually have Joseph leaving to return to his haven, Cheung?
No, after that he wants to go to Espada's apartment.
Oh, that's right. Let's see here. Give me a perception plus alertness at difficulty 5, Joseph. That's
One success.
One success. Okay. It does seem to be judging from what you know about things and a sort of sense, your awareness, the fact that there's a light on in her room that you could see from outside, she might be home. And there's the sounds of a TV sort of softly playing you can hear on the other side of the door when you're standing out in the hallway.
Well, I wasn't planning on getting out of the car yet, but
Nope, you're out of the car already. We already did it. No take backsies. You just blurred that part out.
Joseph pulls up and finds himself staring at the door, wondering why the fuck he's up here.
Because the storyteller ruled it to be true, because you assholes have been going so slow.
Well, he doesn't want to break in while she's awake. I mean, he'll put his head to the door and see if he hears snoring. Maybe she fell asleep with the lights on and the TV on. But if he doesn't hear her snoring, he wants to wait until she turns off the lights.
Actually, as it turns out, he does hear snoring.
Oh, well, then it's open the door.
Well, that's going to involve a dexterity plus larceny at difficulty 6 and a separate check at difficulty 7. To take care of the 2 locks. Alright, he takes care of the knob lock. The deadbolt, however, he'll have to retry at difficulty 8. Not a botch. He'll have to retry it at difficulty 9.
He'll knock, and then wait. Is there something I can like step behind to obfuscate really easy?
He could dip back into the stairwell.
Well, I was hoping more like a plant. Well, he's got the one where he can just stand there and be invisible.
He does have that, yes.
So he'll knock and then he'll obfuscate.
Okay. Well, apparently the light knocking, if that's how loud Joseph knocks, I mean, he was fiddling with the deadbolt there for a while too, and didn't manage to make that much noise. She might actually be in a deep sleep. She does not immediately hear the knocking.
Well, he can't do the deadbolt, and I don't want to break the thing, and it's like 50-50 chance almost now.
Yeah, if you try again, it would be at a difficulty 9, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like close to a 50-50 chance of just screwing it, botching. Like maybe 25%, I don't know. So I'm going
It's not
to...
a 50-50 chance to botch it. You're 50% as likely to botch it as you are to succeed.
Actually, while I'm thinking about the lock stuff, did you have Craig and Rain, like, I obviously assume they're coming back to the church during the day and they just stay away at night, or are they actually back in the church at night and taking care of all the stuff again? I don't understand.
No, I want them, until the whole thing is resolved, I don't want them living in the church.
Okay. And
I assume I make enough that they can have a separate place, like even if it's a bit of a shithole.
That's fine, yeah. They can definitely stay somewhere, too, if you even wanted to, go so far as to say they're staying in, like, a hotel so that, their location couldn't be tracked down.
Yeah, that's the idea.
And the lock was certainly something that could have been simple enough to get replaced during the daytime. That's not an issue.
Yeah, it's
I
just
thought
locks
of
in
it.
it.
Yeah, I just thought of it and thought I'd ask. But, yeah, in that regard, Joseph finds himself, I mean, he can definitely knock louder, obviously. Eventually she's going to hear the damn thing. She's a beat cop. Of course she's going to hear you. Just, it's up to you.
I hope so. That's the idea, is I want to wake her up now.
Well, certainly Joseph knocks loud enough that, you can attract attention. Just also keep in mind, you might attract attention of other people as well. Who knows?
Well, that's why he's knocking and then immediately obfuscating.
Good call. Well, certainly, the loud knocking is going to startle. Actually, it's going to startle so much that he hears a dog barking behind another door, further down the hallway. which creates even more noise in the hallway. The various mutter grumblings of people as they begin arising, all frustrated like hell. Joseph can hear footsteps behind the door, the Spada's door, as what he can only assume is someone walking towards it. And he's observant enough. More lights are getting turned on behind the apartment, and it almost seems like a little bit of a shadow is stepped up behind the other side of the door, like she's looking through the peephole.
Yeah, he's out of the way of the door.
Someone further down the hallway, actually the guy who has like the barking dog in his room, you can tell because the dog bark gets louder when the door opens. He peeks his head out, looks to his left, looks to his right. Espada actually ends up opening her door too, a crack, and sort of like peeking her eyes out, obviously seeing nothing, because she can't see you.
Well,
There's a frown set on her face, her hair is disheveled as if she had fallen asleep on the sofa.
I'm assuming she's not giving me enough room to get in.
Oh no, it's pretty much enough for her to like see outside with her face.
Then I'll just stand there.
She shakes her head, closes the door, relocks it. Perhaps a blessing that she's apparently so tired that she must not have noticed the fact that her doorknob was unlocked, and starts shuffling away. The guy from the other door down, he closes his door too. Dog stops barking after about 20-30 seconds. Lights begin flicking off in Espada's room as she sounds like she's moving away.
Well, after about 10 seconds, so just enough time that she can step away from the door, I'll knock again. And do the same thing.
Ruff, 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 ruff! Espada, stops walking away, turns back around, walks towards the door again. There's a pause. She opens the door. This time, wide enough for her to stick, like, her entire, like, shoulder frame, too. It's not enough room for Joseph to get in at all, but she's leaning out. She's looking down the hallway in either direction. Her, body ends up being pretty close to yours.
Well,
But being as how you're a dead corpse and all, she's not gonna notice you if you don't move.
yeah, there's nothing I can do to affect her mind or get this without shit going really badly. And she's probably a lot stronger than me.
Well, normally, yeah, sure, it definitely looks like she's toned from a life of, physical activity, her being a beat cop and all. And, perhaps, maybe one of her, hobbies would be exercise. She's not overly muscular or, like, super heroic fitness like Dominic Gressman is, but, she definitely looks like she could hold her own. If Joseph were, say, a mortal rather than a vampire, there'd be no contest, easily.
Well, he'll, wait. Wait for her to go back in or whatever else she's gonna do, and same thing again.
Alright. She does eventually shake her head and go, fucking hell. And she turns around, goes back inside, relocks the doors, slowly steps away. You knock again. And then you hear, on the other side, I must have had too much to drink.
Well, yeah, I'll go ahead and pound on the door. This is gonna happen.
So Joseph is pounding on the door.
Just for a second or two. Just third time I wanted to basically give her enough time to get in the door and lock it, and then just start knocking immediately. And if I hear that, then just start pounding on it for a second or two, step back and obfuscate again.
Okay. Uh, Joseph can certainly do that. Dog is really barking further on down the hallway. The brief pounding is definitely attracting the notice and attention of other people as well. And other doors are opening as well because they want to figure out who the fuck is causing that ruckus. Some people, of course, are perfectly asleep just fine, but it is, you know, a little past midnight on a Friday night, Saturday morning, no less. People are going to be up. Now would be the time. And Espada definitely opens the door, and her eyes just sort of like narrow down into these sort of like frosty, glaring pinholes, which, are surveying. Now the various patrons of the apartment begin like conversing with each other. One actually leans over outside the hallway, flips a light switch, covering the area in like completely bright luminescence.
I'm sorry, I missed a little bit of that. I heard you say that some of the people are sticking their heads up, but that was it.
Yeah. People have stuck their heads out, and they variously they've talking to each other. They're just sort of like sticking their bodies out. Espada herself, she looks particularly angry. She's still standing in her doorway, and she's like conversing with patrons to the left and to the right of her. One particular patron actually ends up having like a light switch for the entire hallway next to them. He walks out, he flips the switch, the entire hallway is illuminated in bright light.
Well, what he's reaching for the switch, I assume I see him reaching for the switch.
Oh yeah, you definitely
smart
would.
enough to close her eyes. So if she's not sticking her body out, she's not giving me any room to go through, he's just gonna wait.
Okay. Now, how does Obfuscate 2, how does that handle in a situation in which you're like standing in a completely bright lit hallway?
As long as you were not in a brightly lit area when you went invisible, it doesn't change as long as you don't do anything to draw attention to yourself.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I thought that's what it was, which is how you guys may be able to go to like clubs and stuff. Just fine without a bronze, but I just wanted to make sure on the ruling of that.
Yeah, it says shadows seem to cover him and people automatically avert their gazes, but there's no real mechanics between light versus dark. There's no reason can't actually do it in light.
So it's fine. I mean, yeah, you don't. No one notices you. It's a completely bright lit area. There are people you like complaining like must be like some fucking kids, making trouble or ruckus. One particular patron swears, like next, fucking knock that happens, it's on her door, she's gonna shoot him. And this happens to be within the same hallway as a police officer who is a beat cop who apparently now sort of has confirmation of the fact that she isn't dreaming. Eventually, it takes about maybe 3-4 minutes. People disperse back into their rooms. Switches actually left on, so now just bright light in the hallway. Dog is still barking at hell. Tell her to shut up! People arguing and bitching and complaining about being interrupted during their sleep. And, various doors close as people disappear. Espada ends up being one of the last to close her door, just sort of studying the hallway with suspicious scrutiny.
Well, this time I'll probably give it a minute, then flip off the light, bang on her door like once or twice, and then obfuscate. Step back away from the door and obfuscate immediately.
Well, so yeah, this is certainly something that Joseph is more than capable of doing, and no one's going to notice him or reflect him. However, it seems that Espada herself is not biting on what, Joseph could reason she interprets as a prank. She does not come to the door and check it. Even though other people, might take a look outside or what have you, she does not.
Well, how long does it take for people to eventually disperse this time?
It's a fair bit. They're basically telling each other off like just a bunch of kids who have pranks. Turn up the TV, put in some earplugs. Fuck them. Gonna call the law. They'll arrive. Check out the scene. Maybe. Obviously we have a police officer living here, so she's obviously giving it no mind. So maybe she's already called.
Well then, this time I'll give it another minute. I'll grab out a quarter. I'll flip off the light, try to put a gouge in her door, and then knock again, step back, and obfuscate.
Trying to put a gouge in her door with what?
With a quarter or something. Just something to put a mark or any kind of scuff on it. Anything which someone will notice and say, hey, it's this door that something's happening with. It is a wooden door, or is it like a metal door, or?
It'd be a metallic variety, certainly. So something that'd be sturdy on the exterior.
Ah, okay. Well then, I don't know how to leave a print without leaving prints. She has a window to the outside, right?
Definitely, that's accessible by the fire escape.
Okay, Joseph will find a small something. And, go ahead and... No, that probably won't work. I'd have to... I can move obfuscated, right? So...
Yeah.
I can chuck something at the window, obfuscate, and walk towards her, walk in.
Okay. So Joseph is going to stand outside and try to throw something at her window from the ground floor?
Yeah, he probably can't even do that. It doesn't even matter if, like, it's a wet pile of tissues.
Eh. So, knowing that, would Joseph still want to try, or do you have a different idea in mind?
No, because he's not going to succeed. The most he's going to do is hit some other window, like 4 stories down out of the 5-story building. And, um, just piss someone else off. Um, not sure how to do. She's stubborn about not coming out of her room.
I know, right? It's like cops in the world of darkness or extra vigilant or something. Bastards.
It's almost like people don't walk out of their apartment when someone is, trying to lure them out in a really obvious way.
Oh. He's, well...
Here, be right back. I'm going to go grab a snack.
Can he get up onto the fire escape?
He'll need to make a dexterity plus athletics at difficulty 6 to reach up and grab the ladder.
And that defaults, without athletics, that just defaults to plain dex, right? I don't take any minuses?
Yeah, it just defaults to plain dex. Joseph succeeds, is able to grab the ladder with it and pull it down. He can definitely ascend it and reach Spada's window.
He'll knock on her window and obfuscate.
Well, I should describe the interior first, but no, Joseph was pretty intent on just rushing up to the window and knocking on it. So
well, he'll also be making sure he's not seen through the window. He'll stay obfuscated up there, then get to the side of the window before he knocks.
Okay. Well, as for the situation itself, Joseph knocks on the window and sort of, casts his head aside, maybe peeks around a little. No one within the living room area, which is where the window leads into. No one within the kitchen area either. TV's off. Lights are off. Even the bedroom light. However, Joseph can hear the sound of a stereo. Pretty better hearable through the window, but sounds like it's playing music from the bedroom, which Joseph can't see into from the window.
Well, I'm assuming the window's locked.
It sure is.
Is it possible to attempt to pick the lock from the outside?
No, it is not.
He'll go ahead and leave.
Okay. Joseph Cheung ends up leaving then. Is he going to head back to his church at downtown Flushing, sort of like sign defeat? Or is he going to go somewhere else?
No, he'll probably head back.
Okay. So, normally whenever Joseph comes through, there's just another question I'm thinking about, like, how many doors are there into the church? I'm curious. I know obviously you have the front doors, and then there's the back door that David broke his lockpick in, and there's the side door as well that obviously you're able to get into too. Like, I'm taking a look at the map here. I was just...
Well, okay, if you come in the front door, which is like the intended entrance, that one that's off to the side of the church building itself, it's that door. Then the next...
okay. There.
I'm back.
Yeah, there. And then the back door was right here.
Yeah. This door is sort of like a side entrance. It's just sort of there just because it's there. This door is sort of the intended entrance, the street side, which you'd open up and step into. And then this is sort of like this door and this door sort of separate the church from the sleeping area. And then this door is sort of a back room. And then if you want to get into his sleeping, you've got to go through this door.
Right.
This door, and then you've got to find this door, which shouldn't be too difficult, and then you've got to go through this door.
You're right, and of course, once you get down to the basement, you're faced with a heavily convoluted lock hell, basically.
Yeah, it's a ton of different locks, and they're each different locks. Every single one's individual. It's so he has a key ring, and so do both of its ghouls.
Which doors do you or Craig or Rain use normally?
Normally, to go in, it starts here and then goes through here. And then if they go in through this door, which is the only door into their sort of quarters, and then he goes in down here, and so does anyone he's taking into the back.
So normally Joseph might actually choose to go through the back door then, since it's the closest to his sort of like access to doors, or does he actually go through the front, like park the car out front?
Car's normally parked over here in the parking lot, and he'll go in through the front door and go that way, and he'll normally take in people through here. The back door he only really uses either when he's annoyed and just going to drive up and go in and stomp about, or when he's got like another dead body to put in or skulls, piles of skulls to put into his one of his rooms.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to have you do then is place your token on the map where you enter the door and first step into the church. If you would, please. Apparently you exist in your bedroom, and
Oh, I didn't realize there was still a token there.
yeah, I deleted them. In that case, the door ends up opening, and you can end up stepping inside either here or here.
Probably right there. And also to mention, all of his weapons, everything that's listed that's in his hidden thing has probably been left in his car from chasing Marcus around.
All right. Well, it's a good thing you mention him, because there is a certain individual who has readied something. You can go ahead and add and copy your token to the map here, Jordan. There is someone here who, right before the start of any sort of combat initiative, as Joseph steps through the door and walks in, who, go ahead and describe the situation, Jordan.
Well, Marcus deciding that he does not, that running away from Joseph is probably, not the best scenario. He can't do that forever. He's decided to end this once and for all, and he's doing it on not the terms he would have hoped for, but terms that he's going to have to live with. And the moment you walk through the door, the moment Joseph walks through the door, Marcus is going to throw a bag of flour at him.
All right. This is going to be a sort of surprise round before any sort of initiative roll takes place. In which case, what I want you to do here is make a throwing type thing is... Let's see if I remember here. More of a strength thing, maybe? Strength, or rather, I suppose strength determines distance. Dexterity plus...
It's athletics throw, I think.
There we go. Dexterity plus athletics. Target number is 6 for you, Marcus. And
that
Joseph...
is the difficulty?
Yeah, that's your difficulty 6.
Okay. I think I hit him.
It's going to be 3 successes. I'll actually go ahead in the sort of sporting situation. Say Joseph can attempt to... No, he's surprised. We'll actually go ahead and say this, so it deals no damage. Joseph finds himself walking to his own church with Marcus standing in front of him, and before Joseph can react, Marcus tosses this wide-open, gaping bag of flour right onto Joseph's body, completely covering him, his front with head to toe in white powder. And now it's time for initiative.
That's dexterity plus wits plus 1d10, right?
Yep. 1d10 plus dexterity plus wits plus any miscellaneous modifier you may have.
I'm trying to remember if you can spend willpower on it.
Nah, you can't spend willpower points on combat rolls.
It looks like I rolled a 21.
You did? That was also an interesting sort of roll situation you had there. Why does it keep breaking for you, Jordan?
I type /roll and then I do like the brackets, but I don't know if that's fucking up for some reason.
You shouldn't type /roll and brackets, either /roll or brackets.
Oh, that might do it. That might do it.
It's wits dex, right? That's the only
Yep.
things.
1d10 plus wits plus dexterity. Plus celerity if you had it, plus any other modifiers. In which case, Marcus will be acting first, but Joseph is the first to declare as he finds himself covered and caked with flour, the bag sort of falling down at his feet, as Marcus has apparently broken into Joseph's haven.
Running and yelling.
Alright, that's what Joseph's gonna do. Marcus...
If it matters, it's yelling in Chinese, by the way.
Okay. And, Marcus, it's your turn to declare. You know what Joseph's going to attempt to do. Run away from you and yell.
Well, first thing I'm going to do is spend a point of... I'm going to spend a point of blood to boost my strength, and I'm going to spend another point of blood to give me another action for celerity.
Got it.
Doesn't spending a point of blood take an action?
That's immediate.
It's an immediate action. You can always do it. It's a
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it freely on your turn.
Okay. I'm
something
sorry.
you
It's
can
just
do
been a
freely,
long time.
I know,
It's been a long time since we've done combat.
On the first action, Marcus is going to walk.
So-
Pretty much walk the distance over there and attempt to grapple Joseph.
So I'll go ahead and say if it's something that you wanted to attempt to do on your turn, while you're running, you could actually increase your dexterity by 1 point, so you could say run further.
Yeah, I'll add that to the list of things I'm doing.
Well, Marcus on his first turn will pretty much walk over to Joseph and attempt to grapple him. And yeah, I've already
Okay.
walked over. My second action will be to continue the grapple and attempt to, stuff. It'll probably be, like...
Let's see here.
Ow.
So a clinch then.
Yeah.
Either a clinch or hold. It depends. See, in both situations you're immobilizing him, but with a hold you wouldn't hurt him. Whereas a clinch,
You would deal
can
strength.
actually inflict strength damage automatically, and he'd be able to do the same to you, but Joseph's not that strong.
Yes, but is it bashing damage or lethal? I think Aaron knows this.
It's bashing.
It's bashing.
You're wrestling. It's bashing.
Alright. I will be doing a hold, though.
Okay. In that case, you're obviously the first person to act. Go ahead and give me a strength plus brawl roll at difficulty 6.
Seven successes?
You can't even attempt to dodge that, Joseph. I don't think you can beat 7 successes. It'd have to be it would be a dexterity plus athletics roll at difficulty 6, assuming you could even abort to the dodge. Which case, Marcus manages to walk up to the flower-cover Joseph and succeed in his hold, completely grabbing him and immobilizing him completely. Say, on a successful roll, the attacker holds the target until the subject's next action, which will end up being now. At that time, both combatants roll resisted strength plus brawl actions. The subject remains immobilized until she rolls more successes than the attacker does. So, while Joseph wanted to try to run away and scream in Chinese, the sort of yelling in Chinese will have to come while he's attempting to wrestle Marcus away. Go ahead and roll strength plus brawl rolls, each of you, as opposed, so the difficulty is 6.
I want to buff. Can I buff my strength?
You definitely
one?
can. Well, you said dexterity.
Well, do I have to announce that beforehand too?
I think
You kind of do.
Yeah. In that case, 1 success is not enough to beat 3 successes. Joseph is left kicking and screaming, but is very, very unable to break free from Marcus Paulson. Which case
By the way, what he is screaming, I can actually send that to you in chat.
Okay, go ahead and do that. Since Marcus does not understand Chinese.
It's Charlie again.
And
Why are you speaking Vietnamese at me, man?
And for your second action, you are just continuing to hold him?
Yeah, Marcus is going to try to explain to the man that you're never going to get him to go back up to that fucking place. You're just going to have to let that the little girl's gone.
Okay. Which case, that information is conveyed. Round 2 declarations, then. Joseph is immobilized. What would Joseph like to do?
I believe the only thing I can do is attempt to break it.
That is definitely true.
Unless I can say what happens if he lets me go, but I don't think he's gonna, unless he botches his roll and lets me go.
No. He's just, as far as I'm aware, he's going to keep holding you, and so the only thing you do is try to break free and, run away.
I'm going to hold you until you settle the fuck down.
Okay, well, that's essentially what he's going to do. He's going to, say, well, he's gonna speak.
Marcus is for his thing is just going to keep holding him, not letting him go. I mean, I could right now start doing a shit ton of damage to you, but I'm not.
If that's going to be the situation, then, I mean, Marcus is stronger than Joseph. Well, he'd eventually be able to break free. You're definitely going to have several turns, I mean, of this sort of situation here, where Marcus is like, calm down, I'm not going back up there, you can get fucked, and Joseph, of course, trying to fight, maybe increasing his strength in the process. I suppose we'll keep the purposes of this rolling, for this round 2 thing. Go ahead and make another strength plus brawl roll, difficulty 6, each of you. Okay. Another, we'll go ahead and even have the turns take 10 seconds each here. Basically, as Joseph is trying to struggle, a natural course of action.
Is he starting to struggle even a bit less, or is he not, at least not screaming?
Well, as soon as you say that, he'll just go limp. Or intend to go limp. He may have some difficulty with that, considering I'm guessing you buffed your strength to ridiculous levels from the die you roll?
No, I have potence too.
Oh, okay. Then you're ridiculously fucking buff, so you're probably squashing him a bit anyways.
Well, the moment Marcus feels him go limp, he will let go. And drop him.
With, I assume, some sort of readied stance to try to pounce on him again if he tries to run.
If he tries to run or tries to do obfuscate, he's going to start this back up again.
Okay, and we won't do any sort of combat situation for now then. You guys can interact normally, I assume, so long as neither of you actually move your tokens.
Listen, Joseph. I can understand why you're going crazy about this. But you just have to understand one thing. I'm not going back up there. I don't regret what I have done, but I'm not going back up there. Okay? You just have to get through that through your head.
Joseph will slowly put his hands up and just say, okay. He won't look at you. He'll be staring at the wall straight across from him, probably sitting almost fetal position, and say, okay.
Because you're my coterie mate and a person I still sort of trust even after all the shit you've done. I could have done horrible things to you tonight. I'm not. I just wanted you to get to that head. We've all done terrible things, Joseph. Let's just not let that, end our little partnership. Something that's,
Okay.
sort of worked for now. I'm just saying for now, if this happens again, everything we've talked about here can change. But for now, we're clear, right?
Okay.
If you need my help, ask for it. But I'm not going back up there.
Okay.
You want me to help you clean up, or do you want me to just go?
Go.
All right. And with that, Marcus will leave. Still a bit paranoid and cautious because he's still seeing shit.
Right.
But
Marcus
he will,
rather nimbly and capably, leaps over Joseph and
out the door.
disappears into the night.
Yep.
Leaving Joseph alone, staring at a floor covered with flour, as well as his body that's covered with flour. What is Joseph thinking right now, Sean?
Just a quick thing. Don't say you're sorry to me. I mean, that's part of the idea. Don't take it personal if, like...
I'm not. I'm just saying it's sort of, as friendly thing. I'm sorry it came to this, Sean,
Oh, no,
between our characters.
I'm good at that. I'm good at not taking it personal. I'm just, as long as you're the same way, it's fine. If you find it
I mean,
personally...
I know it could have ended the exact same way for me.
Yeah, no, I don't think it would have. I'm sorry, it wouldn't have, Joseph. Wouldn't have been as nice. That said, what exactly he's thinking, is... I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
I think he's in a state where he doesn't know what he's thinking. If you need it because he read my mind,
No, we don't need it all. You're perfectly fine. You can take all the time that you need to think about the situation. Just a valid sort of concern. Obviously, Vampire the Masquerade is a character-centric and character-driven game where, we want to know about the characters and how they feel. In that case, the police eventually do end up arriving, even though it being, perhaps 1 a.m., the fact that, Joseph is still a respected member of the community and everything, and with everything that he does, no matter the weird instances that have happened, but by then, it's too long gone. Does Joseph know what he wishes to say to the police, or you just want to wave that away?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think he'd have a few minutes to think about it. I
Oh yeah,
I
he definitely would. Don't worry about it. Just, something you can think about it too. What he might want to say to police officers when they arrive.
that's just genuinely a very difficult one to figure out.
Nope, not a problem at all.
And quite frankly, I think shock is probably a natural response. I mean, the guy confronted you inside your church, your haven, and, grappled you and threatened you and then left.
After throwing a bag of flour at you.
I'm pretty sure the bag of flour wouldn't actually do anything.
Oh,
Just
it wouldn't have hurt you, but
no, I'm saying
It's
when
your feet. I would see your footsteps.
maybe
That's fucking
That's my-
smart.
That's my theory.
that is you wouldn't actually be able to track me by it, but you could track me afterwards by it because as a psychic effect, you actually it turns your vision away from. Well, does it turn your vision away from interacting with things?
not what
See,
you
no,
not what you
it's-
do to your surroundings like that.
If you scuff your boot on the floor, if you knock something over, all of these are things that can break obfuscate.
True, but so it's a matter of I'd have to use the third power, which is the one which really fucks your mind, and you literally cannot do anything that might even help you discern them. And I'd have to get 5 successes more than you on that to be able to do that.
You'd
I
have
think
to
that
use a stronger version of obfuscate, yeah, because
Base-
by trailing flour around with you everywhere you were walking, that would immediately break the obfuscate illusion all the time.
Yeah, I'd need 5 successes more than on the 4th power.
So basically, he really did help severely limit your ability to obfuscate.
Yeah. That said, I think the current main things that Joseph is taking away from that is Marcus, someone who's shown that he's willing to kill people wantonly, has broken into his place and threatened him. I think those are the big things that he's seen.
Of course, never mind the fact that, Joseph broke into Marcus's haven and stood facing
It's
the door.
totally true.
Oh no, there is. I'm not saying that there's not what's the term? Hypocrisy there. There is certainly hypocrisy there, but Joseph is not much if he's not a hypocrite.
I mean, it's fine if that's how the character takes it. It's just an interesting viewpoint.
I think the biggest thing in his mind right now is he's glad he took Craig and Rain out of there because Marcus may have killed them. He's shown that he doesn't care about humans, therefore he's shown that he's willing to break into his place. I think that's the big thing that's striking him right now, is if he hadn't done that, Craig and Rain would probably be dead.
Okay. Well, old Joseph is left to contemplate on matters. Marcus, you have left Joseph's church and disappeared off into the streets. You're covered with a little bit of flour, but it's perfectly fine. No one cares about that sort of shit. It's fucking New York City. People look weirder than you.
Maybe he just got out of a bakery.
Yeah, well, Marcus for his part, feels like he's gotten through to Joseph even though he hasn't. He feels like everything's going to be a bit better now. Life's going to be smooth sailing. I mean, hell, Marlena's not around. We're going to have a prince soon. Everything's looking up. Everything is coming up Marcus Paulson right now. Was I transmitting that entire time?
Yeah.
You definitely were. We were just
wanna
all stunned by this reflection.
By how Marcus feels he's done something good and has probably ruined the coterie once more.
Yeah, the dichotomy of how you both took it's hilarious, actually, in a very dark way.
Marcus like, yep, Everything's good.
Is Marcus going to call and inform the other members of the coterie about this great success?
You know what? That sounds like a good idea. Group call. Let's use some of this fantabulous technology.
Do you actually
Byron
want
and
to include Joseph in the group call?
he's got some things he has to work through, and I'm pretty sure I heard some police sirens. I don't know if they're for me, but better be safe than sorry.
It's for the other guy that came in after you and beat up.
Well, if a guy came in after me and beat up Joseph, Joseph has more problems than me. But anyways, Byron and David are going to get a phone call.
All right, Byron will take the call. He's still at Elysium, I believe.
Hey, guys. Marcus sounds very happy right now. Listen, that whole thing with me and Joseph, I think we both have came and we talked about it. Everything is water under the bridge now.
Oh, good. So you and Joseph have patched things up, huh?
I think you could say that. It's going to take a bit of
David's on
time,
the skull too?
Yes.
Yeah. It may take a while for us to, get back to where we were, but I think things are going to be back to normal before too long.
Well, what'd you do? Offer to help him on his investigation?
Not exactly. I sort of hugged it out with him. I just didn't let it go.
So it was a pretty cathartic moment.
It was a really cathartic moment. I don't even know what that word means, but it was that.
I'm gonna be blunt. I didn't think you guys could do it. It's great that you were able to solve this amicably.
Yeah, I'm glad that both of you could really be nice and mature without letting it come to blows.
I'm neither. There was times where both of us seemed like we were going to throw punches at each other, but neither of us did. We just sort of stood there and hugged it out.
I didn't know you were such a touchy-feely person.
I have moments, Byron. I forgot my voice that I was using last week. What was that?
Well, I'm really proud that you actually decided to handle this like an adult instead of trying to avoid the problem.
I mean, that's what I did. I handled it like an adult. Mm-hmm.
Well, glad to hear it. Glad to hear it.
So you guys need anything tonight?
No. Interestingly enough, I'm just down here at Elysium, and there's kind of like an impromptu kind of celebration / everyone patting each other on the back moment here among the Ventrue. Apparently, Marlena's fled town, and we have a new prince.
I heard that rumor when I was down at PS1. I didn't really tell you. I didn't make much of it because, it was only like 3 of us there. And, you know how we degenerates are. We'll take anything and we'll take any rumor and go with it.
Yeah, and that
looks like I'm the last to hear about it for once.
Yeah, and I was going to call you about it as I was leaving here because that thing you told me about a night or two ago, in light of the Marlena situation, takes on interesting connotations, don't you think?
It sure does.
Yeah. And also, while I have you on the phone, just briefly, I was also going to ask you if you could, or if you had, I think I already asked you, I can't remember, if you have gotten the the revised schedule or the new schedule for John Worthing from Albert.
John
Is
who?
it basically the same schedule every week?
Okay, so next Wednesday.
No, I was asking that.
Roughly so, yeah. It'll be fine.
All right, then I'll just tell them. It's basically the same schedule every week. I mean, obviously they get called in irregular hours when the need arises, but that's what their normal schedule is.
Okay, good. We can just plan around that for next Wednesday or something like that, I guess.
Sure.
John
All right.
who?
Oh, John Worthing. He's one of the police schools we're trying to put together.
Oh. You guys gotta understand, I was kind of out of this entire,
No, I understand. You've had to
for a
deal with
week.
that ghost thing.
And then Joseph.
And then Joseph. Speaking of which, I wonder if he's made any progress with the cop that he was going after.
Oh, he's going after a cop too.
Yeah, beat cop. Real go-getter.
Hope it works out for him.
Yeah, so do I.
He
Because
has a lot of experience with ghouls.
yeah, if he takes too long though, I might offer to step in and do it myself. Because we really do need to get this security situation under control.
Most definitely.
That said, I mean, we do have a detective in the police station now, so our security's a little bit better than it was before.
I mean, I'll keep my eyes out if I see anything when I'm, doing my thing.
Right. Are you thinking about getting a ghoul anytime, Marcus? I mean, you probably have a pretty easy time managing one with your, I mean, you've got the same sort of social magic that Byron does, right?
Yeah, well, it's different circles. I went to the Lucky Ace and I just hated every moment being there.
Oh no, that's fair. I'm not necessarily asking if you're
And
going
I really,
to,
me and
help.
cops, we don't get along well.
Right, no, I'm not necessarily asking if you're going to contribute to security. I'm just wondering if you're going to get some sort of an assistant, an attendant, someone to help you out.
I thought about it. Just never found the right person.
It's fair. I don't know. I just figured maybe you'd want someone whose couch you could sleep on and who'd make sure you didn't accidentally get staked during the day.
I thought about doing it with my old bandmates, but they left before I could, actually do it. But that was many years ago.
And besides, I heard that a lot of them are kind of, well, drug addicts.
Needles were in places that they shouldn't be. But yeah, I'm leaving Flushings now. If you guys need me to do anything, tell me.
Nope, just doing renovations at my place.
Sounds like fun. Not really.
It actually is. A lot of strobe lights involved. And some really noisy speakers.
Are you trying to throw a party without me?
Something like that.
I'll be over. Actually, I don't even know where you live anymore.
He never knew where I lived, as far as I know.
No, but it would be kind of. But if you need someone to help you, you'll probably ask someone who's not me.
No, it's better the fewer people know.
Right. Well, as I said before, if you need me, call me.
Right?
Rick.
No, I'm just glad that you managed to resolve things. That makes me really happy.
Same
Click,
here.
click.
Yep, click.
And Marcus will head back to Astoria in an attempt to feed to refill his blood.
Alright. Your target number is 3. Hurrah.
That should bring me back up to 10 blood points, and
Yeah.
that'll probably take me done for the day.
Yeah, that definitely will. Byron, of course, will eventually end up returning to Astoria, to contemplate matters and what have you, and keep digging his hole, think about what he is and what he's done in life.
Yeah, I no longer need to make that call to David because those are the two things he was going to mention.
And David continues to build his amusement park, right?
Yep, more or less.
Joseph going to spend the rest of the night within his the confines of his church, Sean?
Yeah. Probably a large chunk of it upstairs, double checking his locks.
Well, none of the other locks have been tampered with. It didn't even seem that the side door itself that Joseph had gone through had been tampered with either. Apparently, Marcus had done a great job of, you'd assume, picking a lock for one of the doors, and just lying in wait for you.
What time did that happen?
I don't know, like 1-ish, 2-ish. You still got a few hours. By the time he cleans up everything.
Assuming he takes a while, he waits until the cops. Yeah, he'd probably wait until the cops came before doing anything. He'll go ahead and call David.
Okay, David gets a call while building his playpen.
Green.
David's Joseph's voice is probably a little bit shaky. If not naturally, he there is certainly, well, either which way, the shake in his voice is noticeable. Marcus broke into my church.
Really?
Yeah, he he seemed to want to make it. I don't know what exactly he wanted for me to. He told me that he's not going back up there.
Okay.
Whatever's up there, whatever he did has certainly changed him. It made him very afraid of what was up there, I guess.
Joseph, you've been following him around for days and made vague threats about forcing him to go back up there.
Yeah. And now twice my church has been broken into.
Actually, I never made it inside.
Thanks. That makes me feel a lot better. Click.
It should. David's going to call up Marcus now.
Yellow.
You didn't smooth things over with Joseph as well as you thought you did.
Thought I did.
No, he's pretty upset about you breaking into his church.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure he broke into my apartment. But that doesn't make what I did right.
It's true. Answering a crime with a crime is still pretty wrong. Yeah, he also seems convinced that you're absolutely terrified of whatever's up in Yonkers.
I just have no reason to go up there, and don't want to go back. Is that so much to really, ask?
I don't know. Is it?
I have no reason to go back up there, and it seems like it'd just be a waste of time.
It's fair. Is this going to end with one of you killing each other?
Probably. I would rather not.
I would also rather you not.
I mean, I could have killed him tonight. I didn't.
Something tells me he's not necessarily going to look at that as a charity.
And... well... if we can't convince him otherwise, or tell him to stop, it's either going to end up with me dead or him dead. We really can't do anything else about it. As far as I'm concerned, the entire matter is over if he chooses to take it back up.
Why can't vampires just solve their problems in a civil manner? Why has it always got to come to fucking killing and fighting?
I don't know, man. Can't really tell you why. Because I was willing to talk it out, but apparently my terms for talking were not good for him.
I really think he might try and kill you over breaking into his place.
He'll try. But I haven't fought through 2 wars just to die to some priest.
Listen, just do me a favor and keep trying to settle it peaceably. If he brings a fight to you, I'm not asking you to not protect yourself, just try and be the bigger man here. I'd appreciate it.
I'll do what I can, David. Nothing more, nothing less.
Can't ask for any more than that.
Is there anything else you want?
Maybe find yourself a new haven.
That'll be difficult to do. Can't exactly go meet any landlords during the night.
Nah, but there's plenty of abandoned warehouses up near Steinway.
I'll look into it tomorrow. Not enough time tonight.
If you need help setting up security, I'll help you with that too.
As you stated earlier, the fewer people who know, the better.
It's true.
No offense, but
None taken.
I'm pretty sure if Joseph wanted to, he could attempt to get the information from you.
Attempt is the right term.
I'll do what I can. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm trying to be the bigger man here. But sometimes you just gotta say, being the bigger man's not worth it, and, just fight fire with fire.
Alright, I'm gonna go clue Byron in too.
Okay.
I assume that if there's fireworks going on, he's gonna want to be far away.
He probably doesn't want to get involved at all.
Click. And now David's going to dial up Byron.
Fucking phone tag.
This game spends like a solid third of the entire session, every session, just in phone calls.
Oh man, I thought the time might actually be reduced when I told you all that you could make group calls. It was okay. We still end up doing phone tag. I love it.
Now we're strategically playing phone tag.
It's been getting worse too. If you go back to the early chapters, we rarely use the phone except just to say, "Hey, let's meet at Astoria Estates" or whatever. And now, yeah, a third of the freaking game. All right, Byron. Byron answers, says, "Hey, how goes?"
Marcus didn't settle things as peaceably as he thought he did.
Of course he didn't. I pretty much figured it was too good to be true.
Joseph is furious. He is incredibly angry that Marcus dared to break into his church when Marcus has reason to believe that Joseph broke into Marcus's haven. Joseph is convinced that there's some unspeakable horror up in Yonkers just because Marcus doesn't want to go up there. Marcus was apparently very aggressive when he told Joseph that they were settled. I think there's a good chance that one of them is going to kill each other. Not sure which one.
Yeah, it's been escalating. I mean, if Joseph broke into and basically violated Marcus's haven, that's bad enough. And then Marcus goes back and violates Joseph's haven, and
Setting fuel to fire.
Yeah, and if I'm understanding you, he essentially attacked him and threatened him. Is that what you're saying? I mean, from Joseph's point of view. Yeah,
Marcus's exact terms were, "I could have killed him, but I didn't."
If he said anything similar to Joseph, yeah, I think. I mean, you know Joseph as well as I do. That is not. I don't think that's what you tell any vampire. Actually, I don't care who you are.
Yeah, but Joseph especially, he's quick to act, slow to think, and very territorial.
Well, I don't know what to do. I'm out of my depth when it comes to this. I don't know that there's anything we can do. I mean, I suppose I can go over our business agreements and start planning for the worst, which is, pessimistic, but...
Yeah, let's have a contingency plan for if either one of them bites it.
Yeah, we got to do damage control early on. I'll start doing that tonight.
Right. I'll try and keep it from escalating, and you be prepared in case it does. So try and stay a little bit detached from all this.
Will do. Let me know if you need me to do anything.
You got it.
Alrighty. Click, and with that, Byron will do exactly that. He will find the business agreements and look for ways around one of, I mean, I don't even know, we kind of glossed over that, but, writing people out of the contracts and things like that.
That's not happening without someone having their resource dots being removed from the coterie pool. There are going to be losses no matter which way Byron looks at it.
Right, he's going to try to figure out how to minimize that if possible.
Certainly he can try to, limit the extent of the damage, but, by the very rules, one of the few things White Wolf is specific about, whenever someone yanks the dots out of the coterie, they are gone out of the coterie, whatever they put in.
Well,
it's also specific in saying that when one of them dies, the dots remain behind.
Right, that's what I was going to say
too. As you just have to basically struggle to try to manage, whatever resources they had. Like, if Byron dies, handling Evelyn would be pretty goddamn hard, unless one of the others was actually able to put a blood bond on her. And even then, she would still remember you. She would remember how you made her feel.
Well, I mean, given the way...
Actually, in the book it says that when the
blood bond completely shatters, but she would still remember Aaron.
It's fair. And she would remember without the rose-tinted glasses, so we could finally find out whether she actually likes Byron, or if it's just the blood bond.
Before you put another blood bond on her.
Yep.
What would be interesting there, too, is without that blood bond, what is she going to think of the three of you? I mean, she likes, she's a little wary, but she likes Joseph fine, but she's wary of him. Marcus, I don't know what she thinks about. And, well, you're a Nosferatu, so I don't know. I don't know how she would react.
Well, you got to keep in mind she'd probably realize, hey, still need blood.
If she wants to remain a ghoul.
Oh yes,
It's
I guess
kind
she
of
hasn't been a
addictive.
ghoul very long, and yeah, but that's the thing. It's addictive.
You feel healthier, you feel more powerful, you feel the pleasure from drinking it, and it's literally addictive.
Yeah, I don't. I'm going to imagine she does not have super duper willpower. Probably, maybe average, a little below, maybe when it comes to that self-esteem.
I can't
issues.
imagine that a Ventrue would pick up a ghoul that he has a hard time dominating.
No,
Unless he's specifically grooming them to be hard for other people to dominate.
Well, actually, I mean, it really is hard for you to control someone with whom the person has a blood bond over.
right.
Anyway, there you go. There's that. The short answer is if any one of the kindred, are alive and consciously pull out their effort, it's going to be ripped asunder, and they're going to be pulling out whatever they put into the coterie pool. Should they happen to die, and you guys know about it, you can attempt to try to recoup some of those losses. For example, if Joseph goes down, Craig and Rain are most likely gone. That's not something you're getting. Joseph's church is also kind of a situation that's his personally, as well as the ghouls, really. You could try.
All the stuff that's on my sheet that's not listed in Astoria, it's like you could like try to grab it, but you'd be on par with just anyone else trying to grab it. There'd be no benefit to it. While everything I've thrown in, which was I think just like we actually
you
wrote it
threw
down.
you threw in 4 dots in domain and 1 dot newspaper contact. You're responsible for 4 of the dots in domain.
Yeah, and I think the way we justified it was that after the end of the battle for New York, because you were already established in Queens, you had the opportunity to snatch up a lot of territory before anyone else could.
Yeah, I stayed out, I wasn't weakened, I was just there, and then it all fell apart, and I was like, okay, mine. And that was pretty much it. And then you guys actually paid for me to keep saying, okay, mine, rather than just getting shot in the face.
Right. I set up security. Marcus and Byron started fronting cash, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And Grimith, that scene, I don't mind doing that in the open.
Yep, that's pretty much where it was going to have to be conducted anyway.
Yeah, I was just saying, so you don't feel like either way.
Well, I wouldn't have, but I appreciate the sentiment. It's important enough where it would have had to have been done. Serious business. Alright, well, that takes care of everyone else, but the night is not over. Because someone's making a road trip. So, what's going through Joseph's mind here?
I think what's going through his mind more than anything else is questions. It's the main thing is what the fuck happened? What's up there? What's Marcus hiding? What's he not telling us? What happened to the girl? Is there a way he can deal with the killer? Is there a way he can help the girl? Is there a way that the dude can get her back? Is there a way he can get her back at all if he can't? Et cetera, et cetera. It's just question after question.
The trip to Ardsley takes about 90, 100 minutes. It's not very far. Traffic is definitely a nightmare in the metropolitan area, especially given the whole weekend transition. You do have the quarters, though, for the toll road. The directions are easy enough. You found yourself turning into the affluent Ardsley suburb without any difficulty once you actually got out of traffic. Again, as I've described before to Marcus, it's amazing the entire area isn't one giant gated community with all the splendid greenery, a few decorative ponds, which do look radiant and beautiful in the dim light, and its very own country club. Nevertheless, you uneventfully find yourself pulling into Salimshem Court. The bright lights of I-78 shine behind the tree line, steeping the circular patch of road in its three houses in half shadow. The house you're looking for, as ends up being the case, Joseph realizes, sitting in the car. Kind of think of it, does he actually want to, park further down the road and walk into the court, or does he just want to drive into the court?
He knows where the house is. He's driving straight up. He's not doing anything to obfuscate himself or anything like that. I meant obfuscate as in the normal, not the power.
Right, I understand. Okay, the house you're looking for is in the middle of the three, situated the closest to the tree line. It's a one-story brick house with blue shutters. There's an attached garage, its door closed, and the driveway empty. At the front, there's 2 steps leading up to a raised patio, although there isn't anything on here other than a rocking chair. Between you and the front door proper is a screen door, and taped to the back of that is a black sign with bold red text. No visitors welcome.
He'll knock.
Okay. Joseph leaves the car, ascends the porch, knocks on the door. About a minute passes, and then the door opens. Revealing your death now.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, he's already a vampire.
Before you stands an old man, gaunt and gnarled, with hard pebbles peering at you beneath his furrowed brow. His face seems soot-stained, but, Joseph notices this as well. It's not something on his face, but rather that the skin itself has dark colorations. His hair, albeit thin, is well kept, along with his mustache and goatee. The man, should Joseph deign to try to breathe in, because you can definitely see the wisp of smoke, smells heavily of saffron and incense, the layers so thick that they threaten to tickle the interior of your nose. He's currently dressed in a dark, shapeless robe without any markings or decoration. Old man peers at you for a second or two, and before he says, "Ah, yes. Match said that you would be coming, although I did think it'd be sooner. Please, come in. Come in." And the old man steps away to invite you into his home, if Joseph would like to come in. They just describe, you have your front door right there, sort of like a living room area with a fireplace currently active, a sort of dining room area, you'd guess, with bookcases devoted to all sorts of esoteria. From the glimpses of what he can see, you have a guest bedroom here and a master bedroom and little shadings of light with pinpoint like bathrooms. Kitchen here, filled with all sorts of appliances, and a doorway leading into the back that Joseph can't quite make out. The old man gestures towards one of the couches. Please, have a seat, young one. Tell me what's on your mind." The old man himself actually turns his back. That warning preamble just goes to sit down on one of his couches. They're rather comfortable. He folds his old hands on top of his lap and looks patiently at Joseph.
To be clear, I don't need payment to ask you to make sure that you can do what I'm asking.
Ask your questions, young one.
Well, recently you did something with a young girl. Penelope, I don't remember her last name. Penelope Nelson.
I handled the shade of a soul who was addressed as such in life, yes, at the behest of someone I think you know, Marcus Paulson.
Can you bring her back?
He frowns. Actually, she will come back on her own. What I did to her, as I explained to your friend, is not anything that's permanent. Rather, it is a way to banish haunting spirits and prevent them from tormenting those of us who are, a wry smile, living, as it were. But what I can do will not destroy her or remove her forever. She will come back into this world.
Is there a time frame on that?
He frowns. Every spirit is unique, depending on its determination and its will and its driving forces. Some spirits just sort of, after being banished the first time, actually give up, as if the whole act sort of puts them at some sort of peace, and they no longer feel like fighting, as it were. For many shades that are present within our world, young one, are vengeful, and they seek to harm others. In her instance, she seemed determined and of strong will. She may be back in perhaps a month's time, perhaps 2.
Is there a way I can know to be able to contact her when she's back? To make sure she comes back closer to me?
Well, young one, you do possess the affects which she held most dear in life, and I do believe you also have access to the locale where she tragically met her end. As such, if there would be a person she would come back to, it would be you, young one. Of course, I would not recommend such an endeavor, and I would suggest you bury or by other means rid yourself of these artifacts. But if you are insistent, then she will undoubtedly return to you again.
I think this last question Joseph will ponder a while before he asks. And one last question. Well, not last, but second to last maybe. Do you mind if I ask you what you do with your payment?
Contemplates the situation. Quirks his head and says, "That is an interesting question, young one. After all, you have not needed to pay me yourself, so I am not sure of your stake in the affair. Would it be rude of me to intrude upon your haven and ask you about how you handled your business affairs?"
It would be. To be clear, my stake is my associate, Marcus, paid you. And I'm wondering if I should deal with him again.
Deal with him? How? Quirks his head. These sound like questions you should be asking your friend Marcus rather than an old man like me.
That said, he didn't have the last instance of what happened with his payment.
Works a brow. Well, I suppose you know that he came here on 2 separate occasions, and this necessitated a payment both times.
Joseph will pause a moment, then sort of give a nod like, go on, or okay, just sort of a non-committal nod.
He shrugs. And the payment ends up being, I believe as the boy Matt phrases it, a mortal you don't like, which... No, he nods. Serves adequately enough. Unfortunately, the power to command and banish evil spirits is rather taxing, I'm afraid, and... He sighs. Lamentable, but then again, so is much of our existence.
And then one last question. Would you accept payment in Kindred?
He shakes his head. No, my boy. I don't eat kindred. What do you take me for? Some kind of fool? His mouth opens wide, and while he's been very soft-spoken and concealing, for the first time he actually does reveal his teeth, and Joseph will notice that, well, a vampire tends to have those 2 fangs there. All of the old man's teeth are pearly white sharp, as if he's some kind of shark.
Well, at the very least, they're being eaten. Something's happening that's keeping someone alive. Joseph will stand up, say, thank you. Do you expect payment for these questions?
Shakes his head. No, young one. I knew you would not offer such a thing the moment I saw you. It was but a friendly courtesy, the same sort of information that we give any sort of person we may attempt business with. It would be rude otherwise. I would not wish to lie to you.
Thank you. Joseph will smile, genuine smile, and walk out.
Yep, the old man will politely show you the door and close it behind you, leaving Joseph outside, alone.
Well, then Joseph has got to find a place to stay, otherwise he's going to die.
Yes, but on the bright side, Joseph has enough time. It's not too much trouble. You're in a highly, populated area. There are definitely enough road motels he can stay at. It's not a problem.
And on the other plus side, he's found he's not a complete failure. He's found what exactly happened to the guys. And he has a few more questions answered.
Yeah. By someone who apparently, wasn't, scary and doom and gloom and going to kill Joseph.
For a moment there, he may have considered it.
And with that, the session ends, and perhaps this entire campaign as well, unless the 4 of you want to keep going with these sort of internal story arcs, because that's what you all have been dealing with for the past few sessions. I don't have a problem with it. It's just like, obviously next session you're going to continue to cope with the ramifications of basically Marcus and Joseph disagreeing so strongly with each other that there can no longer be a 4-member coterie, and someone's either splitting apart from the coterie, likely Joseph, or someone's dying. Perhaps multiple people. And if you guys want to keep exploring that stuff, we certainly can. But in regards to the intents and purposes, considering everything that has been resolved and done over the past 24 chapters, I pitch it to you guys. Like, you can have the sort of session stories end here, and we would just meet together, the 5 of us, next week, with a sort of epilogue for what happens to the city in the aftermath, and what your characters do, and what they become, and sort of how they end up dealing with each other. And, or we can keep it going here. This is a question that you guys will need to answer.
Well, there are definitely things that are still on David's plate that I'd be interested in seeing played out. But I'm okay with either option, depending on how everyone else feels.
I feel like the thing between Joseph and Marcus, and that's Joseph's big thing right now, is the thing between Joseph, Marcus, and the Ghost is at sort of like this naturalist stopping point that never answers anything. That would be answered in epilogue.